Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how you can grow your own sweet potatoes. Now this is pretty simple to set up. All you need is a jar with a pretty wide mouth, and we'll talk about that in a sec, toothpicks, some water, and a sweet potato to start. Now the two ends of the sweet potato are a little bit different. One of them is more pointy, usually, and the other is less pointy and has sort of a scar, and this is where it was picked off of the plant in the first place. So what we're going to do is figure out which end has that scar. That scar is going to go up. Okay, so you need a jar with an opening wide enough to put the sweet potato into. And so we're going to put the sweet potato into the jar, but first we're actually going to put toothpicks into the sweet potato to hold it up. So we want to put the toothpicks in about 2/3 of the way up the sweet potato. So you can do 3 or 4 and just put them in a little ways. I'm going to do 3, I think. And so this is just going to hold that sweet potato up inside that jar. Now that's going to go in there, and we have a sweet potato in a jar, and then we're going to pour water in up to almost the top of that jar. Hopefully I have enough water here. Yeah, that's about right. Wow, that's perfect. So that's what that's going to look like. Now you're going to put this in a sunny window, and of course some of the water is going to evaporate. So make sure that you keep the water at about that level, even up into the lip there. Now, after a couple of weeks, you're going to see your sweet potato sprout, and it's going to look something like this. Now this sweet potato has been sitting in the window for a few weeks now, and so you can see that it's sprouting shoots upwards and it's also sprouting roots downwards. Now pretty soon these are going to turn really green. Right now they're sort of purple. You can see that up close a little better. So they're purple right now. They're going to turn more green soon, and they're going to turn into really a lush green leaf system. And the roots began white, but they're beginning to get a little more color in there now as well. And they're starting to, looks like, almost try to get out of that jar, probably to get more light, more air, probably more light. So what you can do when this is going on, when this happens, and actually a little bit afterwards, you can break off some of these, and then you can put them in their own water jars, and they will sprout roots of their own, and then you can plant those. You can also just plant this whole thing into soil, and it will grow potatoes, sweet potatoes. So a couple different things you can do. I'm going to leave this in the window for a bit longer and wait for these to grow a bit. And then when they're about maybe 6 inches, maybe I'll break a couple off and put them in their own jars and just kind of see what happens. So what is a sweet potato? Well, it's really just a root, and it sits there underground, and it waits until it's exposed to light and water, and then it begins to grow. So it's really kind of just like a seed, right? A seed just sits there until it's exposed to light and water as well, and then it knows that it's time to go. It's time to grow. Maybe it's springtime and it's raining a lot, and the days are getting longer, so it's evolved to begin its growth at that time. So really similar in how they function. Now you might have noticed on this sweet potato that we planted just now, there's already a little bit of growth happening. Now that's because this has been sitting on a counter, and it's humid. There's some water in the air, and of course there's light. So even though it's not in water like this one has been, it has been a bit exposed, so it's starting that growth. So if you want to keep potatoes and sweet potatoes from sprouting like that, you keep them in a paper bag. where it's dark. So if you are able to find a sweet potato or a potato, I hope you'll give this a shot and watch this growth happen. It's really pretty cool to watch. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me today.